Hey, what's up? Welcome. I'm gonna just share a little cool spot that I like to come to just chill out, and if I'm not really doing anything, if I don't work, and if I'm not doing anything else often, I'll just come here and hang out here for a few hours. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been here for over a year if you've watched my latest recent videos. And so this is just a little spot that I found that's kind of close to where I live, and it's quite a bit of solitude here. And often I'll just like grab some snacks and drinks and stuff and come and either just like do work on my phone or write in my journal, or just kind of chill out here and relax on this little tree. Here I've got GT's mushroom root beer, and then this is if you've ever heard of Teachino, it's kind of like it's a tea, but it's a coffee alternative. They usually do like mushrooms and other spices and stuff that make it taste a lot like coffee. And so I've got a little oat creamer in there, and bananas and water. And I wanted to share a little bit about like a new approach I'm trying to shift my diet. And sorry, the video is going to be a little wobbly. I forgot to bring a tripod to put the camera on, so I'm just sort of holding it here. But yeah, I don't know, for the last, let's see, 2015, like 8 years or so, I started getting into raw foods, and I've gone long streaks on it, as some of you might know. Nearly like 2 years has been my longest streak of being fully raw, but that was like probably 5 years at least ago, and ever since then it's been a struggle for me to get back to eating as healthy as I want to. And it's like just everything that I do, sometimes I'll stick to the diet again for, you know, a few weeks, a few months, and then I just relapse and, you know, start to eat pretty horribly again. I have highs and lows with it, and can really like wreck my body sometimes with that pattern, kind of always being in like extremes, all or nothing, like cold turkey sort of mentality for me, and I just don't think that's the healthiest way to go about it. Especially since over time I've kind of like trained my mind to believe that I can't do it just because of how many times I've sort of failed. So it's like anytime that I create a challenge or a goal for myself, most of me just expects that I'm gonna fail. And so yeah, just by my own mindset, it's sort of like almost predetermined. And so I'm working to like get out of that mindset and sort of trust myself again and believe in myself, and yeah, be able to slowly, steadily get back to my diet. So my plan right now, instead of just going to extremes, is to have like a 1 year thing. So it's a 1 year outline. And each month I'm just gonna be knocking something else off of my sort of like diet list, things that I'm gonna cut out of my diet. And right now it's alcohol. So this is the first month. I'm like around 20 days into the first month of this year sort of challenge to get rid of food. And alcohol is something that I don't consume very often at all. Maybe like once or twice a month I'll have like one beer or a little bit of sake or something. I feel like I have a fairly healthy relationship with alcohol, even though, you know, it's not necessarily healthy whatsoever for my body. It's not something that I ever go overboard on, and I use it pretty, you know, as consciously as possible for alcohol. Often what I really enjoy, because I'll make it almost ceremonial sometimes. I'll even come out here to this spot and I'll just bring like some sake or something in a nice little glass to drink out of, and I'll bring a journal, and I'll just sit out here and journal. I often find that alcohol actually helps me feel more open. It helps me feel more creative and just kind of like less inhibited. So that's the only reason why alcohol is something that's sort of, you know, hard for me to give up, which it's still not really, but I do enjoy having that sort of like more conscious time with it, where I actually do something creative with it, and it just like helps me get into more of a flow sometimes, but that's not a big deal. So giving up alcohol this first month, and then next month I'm going to be giving up vegan mock meats and cheeses, which I also rarely consume. But you know, the goal here is like, I'm not trying to give up just the hardest things for me to consume first. This is really more about over time, slowly, steadily building up trust with myself. I also am tracking, you know, I have like a habit tracker app. So every day that I complete, you know, not drinking alcohol or whatever else, then, you know, I've got a little check mark there. I can cross that day off, and that helps it helps your brain to feel like you've done something, you've accomplished something. It helps build that self-trust, and it helps keep you motivated to continue doing it. So I'm starting off with just like the easiest things first. You know, even though I almost never drink alcohol or eat mock meats and cheeses, that's perfect, because I'm just kind of like reprogramming my brain to trust myself, to say, yes, I can do this, and to show that I can be consistent with something. And so once I do start getting into the things that are tougher for me to give up, the things I'm more addicted to, then my brain will have some momentum, it'll have some self-trust, it'll believe that I can do it. And so that's just sort of the approach that I'm taking now, rather than all these crazy extreme methods to try and just eat raw today or tomorrow and never eat cooked food again. So yeah, some other things, you know, throughout the year that I'll be giving up. It will be things like processed sugar, oils, salt will probably want to be one of the last things that I give up. Salt is one of my major addictions, and then like chocolate and caffeine is one of them, which is also a pretty big addiction for me. Mostly chocolate. Chocolate's a huge comfort food for me. So those are gonna be kind of towards the end, and yeah, we're just gonna see how it goes. You know, the first month, this is a really easy one for me, so I suspect like the first 2 or 3 months are gonna be easy, and I'll have it down. But once I get to the things that are a little more challenging for me, I'll just keep y'all updated and see how it goes. And this is definitely a method that I recommend for anyone and everyone. I think there's very few people, maybe like 1 to 3% of people that can just use raw willpower and like mental fortitude to just go cold turkey on something like this. These addictions are huge. They've been with us our whole life. And we generally, most people have a lot of self-doubt and lack trust in ourselves. And it's really hard to reprogram that in us to the point where we actually can believe that we're doing it, that we're going to stick to it, and all that. So yeah, I wouldn't compare yourself to people who have just like given up raw foods instantly and have stuck with it for years, because that's so rare. That's not who you should be trying to like base your efforts off of. You know, 99% of us are not going to be able to do that, and we're going to have to implement something like this slower, gradual approach. And I think that this is just the most solid way to do anything, is just this slow trust building with yourself, and you know, habit tracking and all that. That's how you're going to build like really good foundations for yourself in any area of life, and building that like self-leadership. Yeah, because I think, just like I've been saying, you know, you try and do something full on, extreme, all in, and then it backfires, and then you lose trust in yourself, and then you lose motivation, and then it's like this big emotional thing. So I've definitely, I think my personality type especially tends to be more going to the extremes and making extreme decisions. So it's something that I'm having to work on a lot. It's definitely doesn't feel natural for me. So that's what I'm trying out for the next year. If you're struggling, this is the approach that I would encourage you to try as well. Just find 12 different food groups, food items that you want to cut out of your life that will help you get to, how you want to be eating. And then slowly, month after month, just cut one of those out until you've reached a year and all 12 are gone. All right, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Comment your thoughts about this approach below and subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.